Hey, what is up, YouTube land and vinyl community? It is Kendall Stokes coming at you with another video for the Spin Doctor and his Vinyl Mayhem YouTube channel. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different than I've done before, but I am going to do pretty much an album review. I've kind of done one in the past, whenever Mobile Fidelity released the Eric Clapton Unplugged Ultra Disc One Step. But this is actually going to be for a brand new album just released this past Friday, and it is going to be for one of my all-time favorite bands, Foo Fighters. This is their newest album, their 11th studio album. This is But Here We Are Now, or But Here We Are. What is it actually called? I'm going brain dead all of a sudden. Yeah, But Here We Are. Wow, that's terrible of me. but yes, this is their follow-up to Medicine at Midnight, their follow-up and you could almost say comeback album, after the tragic loss of course, their drummer Taylor Hawkins just over a year ago. And there's so much to say about this album, honestly. First and foremost, I've been a fan of the Foo Fighters from day one. They're one of my all-time favorite bands. I've said that before. I've talked about how, I've been, I've had the opportunity to see them live twice. Two of the best concerts I've ever seen. Saw them on the Wasting Light tour, which I've said in the past is my all-time favorite album of theirs. And then saw them about a year or so after. They did a special show at the Fillmore here, a little small venue. It was really, really cool, about 200 people. They played for almost 4 hours. Just an epic show. It was amazing. They just put on an amazing show, rock and roll to the extreme, just for the fans. They're a rock and roll band through and through. They know how to put on a show for you to make you feel like you are part of the show. Dave Grohl is the ultimate performer, and Taylor Hawkins was a big part of that as well. But the entire band they mesh together so well. And so when Taylor passed away, I really wasn't sure what was going to happen. I was one of the ones that was a skeptic and thought that maybe they were done. And so whenever I heard that they had a new album coming out, I was like, okay, let's see what happens. And so little by little over the last few months, they've really been releasing a song here or there, and I was liking what I was hearing. And now we have the full album here, and it came out on Friday. Today is Monday. I've had the opportunity to stream it quite a few times. I've spun it one time, maybe twice. I did I pre-ordered the indie exclusive, I guess you'll call it, the white vinyl, which I thought was kind of interesting that they went with a white album, because white, as you know, is very symbolic, a cleansing, and I think they did that on purpose, kind of a new beginning to the band, a fresh start, because first and foremost, last year was a very difficult year for the band, but specifically for Dave. Dave, they lost Taylor in March, but then, like 6 months later, Dave lost his mom. And if you don't know anything about Dave's mom, first and foremost, she was Dave's biggest fan, and honestly, his best friend. She was his biggest supporter. She was a school teacher in Virginia, which is kind of funny considering Dave quit school to go on tour with Scream. And she supported that decision. but she supported him in so much of his decision making at a young age. She did so much to help him pursue music and his love of music and just what he wanted to do. And I've been reading his book here recently, Storyteller, and if you haven't read that, I would strongly encourage you, if you are a fan of Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters, to read that book. It's a great read. It reads nothing like a regular biography. It reads honestly like if you were to listen to an interview of Dave Grohl's just telling a story. It's not in chronological order or anything. It's him telling stories. Each chapter is a different story, and I can just, when I read it, it's like I'm picturing him in an interview just telling that story, and it's really, really great. His mom actually wrote a book as well, which will probably be my next read. But as I was saying, she passed away like 6 months later, I think in like August or something. So, you know, Dave went through a lot last year, and this album for sure was his therapy. Because when you listen to these songs, you know, from song 1 to song 10, you can just hear in the lyrics, in the way he sings, in the way he phrases, and in his playing. Because he played the guitar, and he also played the drums. This is the first time he was behind the kit for the entire album. And you can just tell this was therapeutic for him. This was him, you know, being able to move past it. Although, will he ever be able to move past it? You know, maybe not. But one thing that I took away from this was that this was probably more for his mom than it was for Taylor. Yeah, there's songs in here where he's definitely referencing Taylor. I think Rescued references Taylor more than it references his mom. You know, we're just waiting to be rescued. I get the vibes of Taylor a lot. Even if you want to go back to Kurt, you know, being rescued, because we're all just waiting to be rescued. You know, and then of course the next track. Under You, you know, talking about being over it. I mean, there was a line in there about you know, staring at pictures of him. I forgot how, I'm already forgetting how it's worded, but anyway, it's just, you could tell that in writing a lot of these songs, Taylor was definitely at the forefront of what he was thinking about, but also his mother, big time. You know, other songs on here, Hearing Voices, you know, that one, that's a good listen. If you haven't listened to that one yet, listen to that one. But Here We Are is a great one. But The Glass, that is the one that floored me. Talking about seeing his reflection in somebody, looking back at him, totally talking about his mom. And now the only thing that's separating them is the glass. And that just, it floored me so much, listening to those lyrics and the emotion in that one. That one is, to me, the sleeper on the album, The Glass. Listen to that one. Such a good one. And then on side 2, let me just pull this out real quick. Man, you can barely see the tracks on here, but side 2, Show Me How. That one, his daughter Violet does vocals with him on that one, and I can only imagine what that's like to, you know, I mean, I have a 5-year-old that loves music, and I love I love it when she's singing in the car, or she's singing here, you know, when we're listening to records, and you know, when she likes to sing with me. I just think it's amazing. So to have your daughter sing on a record with you, but then sing about what they're singing about, which is clearly Dave's mom, and that's just what I'm taking from it. Dave's mom, about, you know, who's gonna show me, and then saying that I'm gonna take it from here. Yeah, that, wow, yeah. So just very powerful stuff. And then number 9, track 9, The Teacher, clearly his opus to his mother. You know, his mom was a teacher, and you know, this 10-minute song, you know, just, you know, what am I gonna do tomorrow? I forgot. I mean, I don't know the lyrics by heart yet, but just, it's this song that just, you could tell. I mean, Dave was so influenced by his mom, and he cared so much what she thought, and he wanted to make sure that he, you know, did right by her. And that one right there, just yeah. If I could say one bad thing about this record, it would be about that song, though. The way it ends, it just stops abruptly, almost like there was something wrong with the track. And that's the one thing I don't like about it. I feel like it doesn't have an ending, and I feel like it needs an ending. And then the final track is Rest. That one is another one. Really, really great track. Just this whole album, from start to finish, it's one of those albums where I feel like it's a solid album, song by song. You know, there's certain albums, whether it's by the Foo Fighters or by other artists, where I can do without a song. Like if I'm streaming it or I'm listening to a CD, I might skip a track. But this is one of those albums where I can honestly say I'll listen to the entire thing without skipping a track. It's that good. You know, the reviews for this I've been reading have been really, really good. I mean, I would say by far this is their best album since Wasting Light, which came out in 2011, I believe. And for me, that's saying a lot, because Wasting Light is my favorite album, and it still is my favorite album. But I will say, when spending more time with this, I guarantee you it's gonna rise to the ranks, and it'll be up there with Wasting Light for sure. This was by far a huge surprise to me. I wasn't sure what to expect coming off of such a huge tragedy in the band's career. How they were gonna capitalize, that's not the right word, how they were going to move forward, and they knocked it out of the park with this one. And I think it's just because Dave, like I said, to me, this was his therapy. This was his way to cope, and sometimes that's what you got to do. You know, to me, I've talked about the Eric Clapton Unplugged album being my favorite album of all time, and the track on there, Tears in Heaven. You know, Eric Clapton wrote that song at a very low point in his life with the death of his son. And you know, sometimes tragedies, you cope with them in different ways, and artists and songwriters can take those things and make something beautiful out of something so horrific. And to me, that's what Dave did. He took two very terrible things in his life and turned it into just an amazing album that to me is going to go on to be, I see this winning Grammys. This is going to be probably my pick for album of the year this year, when I do my video at the end of the year for what will be the album of the year. This is going to be it, probably. I'm gonna spend more time with it still, but I'm very, very impressed with this album. I will say with this record, it didn't come out perfectly. It's not a perfectly flat record, so that was a little disappointing. It still plays really well, so I mean, I'm not going to do anything about it, but it's not perfectly flat. You know, it's not 180 gram vinyl, sadly. What are you going to do? But I'm very happy to have added this to my collection. Very happy the band was able to move forward in their career. I wish the band was coming to Charlotte. The Medicine at Midnight tour, I was going to go see them in Charlotte when they were going to be here, but they obviously had to cancel. I'm hoping they'll be around. I'm very interested to see what Josh Freese brings to the band as their drummer. But I wasn't sure if I was going to do this video. But after watching Chance, the concert buddy, if you haven't seen his channel, I'll leave a link. He actually did his first impressions on this record just yesterday. I watched his, and that put me over the top, so I decided to go ahead and do one myself. But yeah, I'm loving this so far. So good impressions, good album. Definitely. If you haven't listened to it yet, I would strongly encourage you to, stream it, buy it, spin it, buy the CD. I don't care. You need to listen to this record. If you are a Foo Fighters fan, whether a hardcore one like me or just a, average run-of-the-mill one, you need to listen. It's great. So anyway, that's what I got for you today, guys. Hope I didn't bore you too much. Let me know what you guys thought. I always like hearing what you guys think. Leave me a like, comment, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys. Peace. Bye.